Hello, Joe Greco from AskJoeAboutMoney.com. In today's video, we're going to continue talking about purpose as it relates to education. If your purpose is to facilitate education of a loved one, a child, a grandchild, a friend, a neighbor. So here's the question you have to ask yourself is that, do you want to help pay for someone's education? And how do you want to do it? Do you want to fund that now? Do you want to fund it later? Do you want to fund it over time? So always the first part is, in a perfect world, I always ask myself, and I'm asking you to do the same, is if you have money set aside and you want to pay for your grandchild's education, would you want to pay for the entire education? Would you want to fund it all now? Would you want to fund it over time? If you have multiple grandchildren, do you want to fund it now? Do you want to pay for all their education? Do you want to do it over time? So the first question, as you can see with these videos, is, in a perfect ideal world, forget about if it's possible or not, how would you want it to be done? So let's say you're a person that says, you know what? Yeah, I have a grandchild and right now he's 5. And so we have about 10 plus years to get that college fund going. And what I would like to do is put in a set amount every year for the next 10 years, roughly, to set up that fund. So there's different ways to do it. The first thing is this. If you want to do that, there are different states, like I live in Florida, and every state has different things that are available. So in Florida, there's something called a Florida prepaid, where you could actually pay into it, and as long as your student goes to school in the state, it's paid for all of the school, including room and board and everything else, including the increases. So the first thing is to check with your state and see what the availability is in terms of programs that they have. Then the second thing is that if you're in a situation where you want to fund it over time, there are college funding plans that you could put into over time, and from there it grows in a tax advantage way, so you're not going to have to pay tax on that money. And then finally, we're going to talk about what type of funding do we use. Now, because this is a long-term investment and we're going to be adding to it, the stock market is a great place to invest this money, and specifically we want to invest in some low-cost ETFs, that's exchange traded funds, because we're going to be adding money over time. So even if the market's going down, it doesn't matter, because over the long run, we're going to keep buying along the way. We call this dollar cost averaging, and the account's going to grow. So again, so you have to ask yourself, if this is money that's going to be going in over time, let's put in a little bit, let's say once a quarter, we invest it in the market, and we could do it in a tax advantaged way. So once again, if you want to, before I forget, there's one thing I also want to talk about that I almost forgot to talk about. That's why I have my sticky note here. So that's if you're funding it over time. But let's say that you have a grandchild that is ready to go to college right now. Like they're starting to go to college right now, and you want to write a check. Very important. If you write that check to the institution, you get a tax advantage for that. So if you're going to be writing a check, if you're going to be paying for someone's education, make sure that you're going to be going ahead and writing a check to the institution, because there's ways that we could save on taxes with that. Joe Greco, Ask Joe About Money, and go ahead and share this video with friends and family so they can learn with this as well. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.